Hey, welcome to part 2 of the iCom 7000 video series. For those of you following along, I'll put the description for part 1 in the comments. This is part 2, and I'm going to just call this Getting Started. So there's not going to be any real modifications in this video, but some of the things I need you to get and to consider if you're going to follow along and do the series. So first of all, again, it's a very nice little radio. Detachable faceplate. Practices, right? Similar to the new Yaesu. So, you could put this under the seat, behind the bench, in the car, whatever, and the faceplate can mount wherever you desire. The other thing I like to do with all my radios, and if you look at the introduction to Shack Part 1, my iCom 7851 and my iCom 9700, I have 2 matching speakers on either side. I usually set one up to VFO-A, the other to VFO-B, and that way I can, kind of, if it's coming out of the left side, I know which VFO it's coming out of, right. Now this radio doesn't offer that. In fact, iCom doesn't sell a matching speaker for a mobile rig, right? It's probably something you're going to tie into your car's audio system, or, maybe a standalone speaker somewhere under the dash. So, let's solve that problem first of all. Let's make our own matching speaker. Simple to do. First of all, you're going to need a couple of these splitter cables. Now this is mono, that's tip ring, no sleeve, to 2 mono outputs. Get yourself a couple of these, because as we go on further into the modifications radio, we're going to need to pick that audio off and send it to the computer as part of digital. You're still going to want a speaker of sorts, so a couple of these are a good purchase. I get mine off of Amazon mostly for a couple bucks. And we'll need them for hooking up the speakers. Now, you can do the speaker just like that in black. Here's one I did in clear acrylic. Very nice, for those who like the X-ray effect. How do you get these? Well, unfortunately, the acrylic boxes come by the dozen. So you got to buy a dozen boxes to get 2 for your radio. Obviously, I've got a dozen boxes sitting here, so maybe we'll do some kind of giveaway later or group purchase, and maybe you guys can just divvy them up amongst yourself for how you want to do this. Or make all 12 and sell the rest of the Hamfest. Speaker covers come in a 2-pack. That's a little bit better. And you'll see how I put those in the acrylic box. And then finally, a simple eBay speaker, or I guess probably Amazon. So I'm not going to go into the building of this. Obviously, you're going to drill a hole in the box, you're going to mount it, and you can paint the box on the inside black. So if you open it up and paint on the inside just black, then you'll have the acrylic on the outside to protect it from being scratched. This one I left clear. This one I wrapped in a carbon fiber contact paper. It looks okay. Left the back clear. Up to you guys how you want to do it. But the important part is, for the future, we're going to need a couple of these. So, what's next on the agenda today? That video will be very short if I ended it right here. You're going to need a programming cable if you don't already have one. So how do I get this to focus? So this one's Maxim Data. I think I picked these up off of eBay. $10, $12 a piece. I don't remember. It's not much. But you're going to need this for both programming the radio and for CI5 data out of the radio into the USB port to the computer. So at least one of these. You don't need more than one, I don't think. We'll find out in the future. And I recommend RT Systems software for programming. I know it's $50. It's at least it was when I bought it. but it works much better than chirp. I never really got chirp to do what I wanted to with this radio. So, or if you're going to keep the radio and do some experimenting with it, RT Systems is the way to go to get you some good programming cable. What else do I need? A little mini nifty guide here. This thing comes in handy. Usually I've got it turned to this page here because the back of the radio, focus is separate. Now, because the back of the radio has no markings really. You know, you've got a key, data, and accessory ports. Get this thing, you can see it. Those are marked, and nothing else. Antenna 2, antenna 1's marked. You got a mic port here, but none of these are really marked. So you're going to want those so that you can, because we're going to be plugging in and out of this a lot. But the video output, CIV control line that goes to that cable I just showed you, Mcredy FSK line, yeah, data line, and then an external speaker, which is where we'll plug those splitters into. So all this is pretty handy. I have a service manual. I don't think you need this. In fact, you won't, because I'm going to provide you the schematics and everything else as attachments, or just link to that video. I'll put the link to that when we get to that part in the video. So service manual was for me for figuring things out. Operations manual, good idea. You don't have to print them. These things are all available online these days. This is just the instruction manual. Old school, I guess. I like a hard copy, but you can just, download a PDF and voila. Oh, what else are we going to talk about today? Well, let's see if I can get this thing back in frame. Let's talk about video out. A lot of comments on, hey, this thing gets video out. It's not hard to do. It's in the instructions. This is not a modification. First thing you'll need is a cable that looks like this. Tip and ring on one side, no sleeve, so it's a mono type of connector, to RCA. And specifically, it's kind of weird. Anyhow, to RCA. And that gives you your video cable. The next thing you're going to need is over here somewhere. Oh, here it is. You're going to need some kind of, the computers, the monitors we're using today are HDMI. So you're going to want something to get you from HDMI. Now this little kit from eBay, the AV2 HDMI, upscaler, has, there's two kits available. One with all these cables and one with, very little cabling. You pick the one you want based on what cables you may have already laid around in the shack. This is a very simple method. It's not the only way. The way I did it before was through a bunch of adapters and stuff, and it was clumsy, but it got it. But basically, we're going to plug the yellow into the yellow, this into the back of the radio, and an HDMI out. Over here, somewhere, there it is. HDMI out is going to get, go to your computer monitor. With just these two wires, I don't need the audio and the left and right speaker audio yet. We may use it for something else, but it's available. This will get you your external display. Speaking of which, what kind of external display? All kinds of them out here. This is one that was probably for a early Apple Raspberry Pi that I had. But yeah, HDMI input, sits on a screen. You decide you want 4-inch, 6-inch, there's some monster display, but that's you'll need a display if you're going to do that. And let's see, the final thing you should start to think about getting is an audio interface. As we get a little bit further into this and start pulling the computer in and out of the SDR and in and out of the pan adapter, you're going to want an audio interface. This is the cheapest they come, a few bucks. You've got your, this thing doesn't focus, but it doesn't matter. You've got your speaker input and your microphone input. And it's speaker out, I guess. And and just plugs into your, we're going to use the Raspberry Pi. These are okay. They will do it. It's going to leave all the audio and drive balances up to you to get the volume correct, get the box turned on, get everything else. I'm going to probably try to use this to begin with, but really I've got a mobile link here, which is a good audio interface. Comes with all the goodies, and that's what we're going to use probably, but you decide what kind of audio interface you want and how you want to do it. The Toads group, Keo and company, those guys they've created their own audio interface for hams. If anyone of you are listening and want to send me send me one. I'll put that one on. I'll use that one for this project. They have a really nice universal one out there, and I highly recommend you look up the Toads, look up Temporary Offline, and see what he has to offer. Okay, so what else? Have I covered everything that I want to cover in this video? Yeah, so these are the few of the things you're going to need. It's not everything for the entire project, of course, but if you want to get that video working now, that's a good idea. If you want to start getting figure out your external audio, we're going to need to split this thing off a couple of ways. Good idea to go ahead and start procuring that now. And if you want to do the speakers, let me know. I'll put the links for what I've got. Maybe we'll do a giveaway or something. I've got 12 more of these cases. I don't know how many more I'm going to make myself. I got 4 more speakers and 4 more covers. So yeah, maybe I'll keep 4 of the 12 and pass the rest on to you guys. We'll figure out a little package and shipping price. I'll save you from buying 12 the complete set of 12 cubes for just the need of 2 or 3 or 4, whatever your needs are. Comment in the comments if you're interested, and we'll see about how to get some of those out to you guys. All right. Well, this is part 2. It's not very long, but it's kind of some housekeeping to get your station together. Let you get those things ordered in-house, and then you can follow along. If you're looking at this already going, oh my God, this is too much, maybe you just want to watch along and not try to build your own digital station. It's up to you guys. Anyhow, that's all for this video from the Hamshack of KA4UPW 7 turns.